What's the secret to a love story that spans decades, through high-pressure careers and across different continents? Dana Perino, a household name in the world of news and politics, found her answer in a chance encounter on an ordinary flight. But there's more to this story than a simple meet cute. Behind the cameras, politics, and headlines lies a partnership so unique, it's been the anchor for over 25 years. Here's the twist: Dana credits much of her career success not to a mentor or colleague, but to her husband, Peter McMahon. Who is this man? What makes their bond unshakable? And how did a brief conversation at 30,000 feet turn into one of the most enduring relationships in media? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand their fascinating love story, but also gain a fresh perspective on what it truly takes to build a lasting, supportive partnership in the modern world. There's a surprising detail about Peter's life that changed everything for Dana, and it's coming up later in the video. You won't want to miss it. Peter McMahon isn't someone you'd typically associate with the spotlight. He's not a politician, a media personality, or even a public figure. Yet his story is just as compelling as Dana Perino's. Born and raised in the United Kingdom, Peter spent much of his life moving between countries, building a career in sales and medical manufacturing. He's lived in Germany, Saudi Arabia, and even spent time across Asia and South America, learning how people live and work in vastly different cultures. But here's what makes Peter stand out: he never followed a traditional path. As a young man, he dreamed of flying in the Royal Air Force, but his playful nature clashed with the rigid structure of military training. Instead, he pivoted, finding his way into the corporate world, where he thrived in leadership and innovation. This combination of resilience, adaptability, and a global perspective would later become the foundation for his relationship with Dana. He wasn't just her husband, he became her sounding board, confidant, and most trusted advisor. What's fascinating is how this man, with such a grounded and unassuming background, became the catalyst for some of the biggest decisions in Dana's life. But here's the kicker: Peter wasn't looking for a relationship when he met Dana. In fact, their first meeting was pure chance, and that's where the story gets even better. Keep watching to hear how a seat assignment on a plane changed both their lives forever. What happened next will make you rethink the idea of fate. It all started on a flight in August 1997. Dana Perino, an ambitious professional on the rise, and Peter McMahon, a seasoned businessman with no intention of starting a new relationship, just happened to be seated near each other, 13A and 13C, to be exact. A coincidence, maybe, but what unfolded during those 2.5 hours was anything but ordinary. Dana and Peter struck up a conversation, one that seemed effortless and natural, even though they came from completely different worlds. As the flight flew by, their connection became undeniable. By the time they landed, Peter did something bold: he asked for her details. But Dana didn't just scribble down a number. She handed him a card with her home phone, office number, fax, and email address. A clear sign that she was just as intrigued by him as he was by her. Now, think about this: what are the chances of meeting someone so pivotal to your future in such an unexpected place? If either of them had been in a different seat or taken a different flight, would their story have even begun? Here's the intriguing part. Even though Peter was captivated by Dana, he didn't rush into anything. Instead, he sent her an email, setting the tone for a long-distance romance that defied the odds. What's truly remarkable isn't just how they met, but what happened next. Because what seemed like a fleeting moment of chance turned into a commitment that neither of them could have anticipated. And their story only gets better from here. How did Peter propose, and why did Dana respond in such an unconventional way? Stay with me, because this part of their journey reveals something about their bond that's deeply inspiring. Not long after they started dating, Peter McMahon made a decision that would change everything. Less than a year after their fateful meeting, he decided to propose, but in true Peter fashion, it wasn't your typical romantic spectacle. One day, while walking near the Washington Cathedral, he seized the moment. There was no grand plan, no rehearsed speech, just a spontaneous, heartfelt proposal. But Dana's response was as unique as their relationship. Instead of answering immediately, she took time to reflect. She later wrote Peter a letter, a deeply personal and thoughtful one, and at the end of it, she gave him her answer: "Yes, I will marry you." It wasn't flashy or dramatic, it was deliberate, intentional, and completely in line with who they are as a couple. In September 1998, Dana and Peter tied the knot. It wasn't just the start of their marriage, it was the beginning of a partnership that would stand the test of time. Peter had already been married before and had 2 children from a previous relationship, but this chapter with Dana was something entirely different. Here's a surprising twist: their relationship wasn't just about love, it was also about growth. Dana has openly said that marrying Peter was the hardest, yet most rewarding, decision of her life. He became her anchor, offering wisdom and guidance as she navigated the high-pressure world of politics and media. But their connection didn't stop there. Peter's unwavering support helped Dana take bold steps in her career, and in return, she brought him into her world with an openness that strengthened their bond. What's even more fascinating is how they balanced their individual identities while building a life together. Their wedding may have been the start, but their story was only just beginning. Because beyond the vows and the celebrations, there's a deeper reason their marriage has thrived for over 25 years. And it has everything to do with the way they approach life together. So, what's the secret to keeping their relationship strong through the challenges of career, family, and life's unexpected twists? That's coming up next. You'll want to hear how they've managed to create a partnership that's not only lasting but also deeply fulfilling. What keeps a marriage thriving for over 2 decades, especially when one partner is under the relentless spotlight of public life? For Dana Perino and Peter McMahon, the answer lies in a mix of mutual respect, shared values, and a deep understanding of each other's worlds. Peter didn't just step into Dana's life, he became an essential part of her foundation. During her time as the White House press secretary for President George W. Bush, one of the most intense periods of her career, Peter was her calm in the storm. Dana has often said that his advice, encouragement, and unwavering belief in her abilities gave her the strength to succeed in a role that demanded so much. But it wasn't a one-way street. Dana has equally supported Peter's career and passions. With his extensive background in medical manufacturing, Peter has built a life that's just as accomplished as Dana's, though in a completely different sphere. Together, they've balanced the challenges of their respective careers with an intentional focus on their relationship. What's especially unique is how they've woven their personal joys into their life together. Take their love for dogs, for example. Over the years, Dana and Peter have raised 3 Hungarian Vizslas: Henry, Jasper, and Percy, treating them as cherished members of the family. In fact, Dana's book, Let Me Tell You About Jasper, was inspired by their second dog, who became a public favorite through her social media posts. But their bond isn't just about shared hobbies or career support, it's about the experiences they've created together. Peter's extensive travel background has brought a richness to their life. Having lived in places like Saudi Arabia, Germany, and the UK, Peter has always had a global perspective, and he shared that with Dana. From quiet moments at home to adventures in new countries, they've embraced the importance of living fully, no matter where life takes them. The secret ingredient? They never stopped learning from each other. Whether it's Peter's thoughtful advice or Dana's drive to push boundaries, they've built a partnership based on growth and respect. Still, every enduring relationship has its challenges. So how do they handle the pressures that come with being public figures while keeping their private life strong? That's coming up, and the way they navigate these challenges might surprise you. Every relationship has its trials, but for Dana Perino and Peter McMahon, the challenges often came with higher stakes. Being married to a public figure, someone who served as the White House press secretary and now co-hosts one of the most watched news shows in America, can test even the strongest bonds. Add to that the demands of Peter's global career in sales, and it's clear their journey hasn't always been easy. So how did they manage it? One word: communication. Dana and Peter have always prioritized honest, open dialogue. Whether it's about the stress of work, decisions about their future, or navigating personal setbacks, they've leaned on each other without hesitation. Dana has called Peter her best guide, often turning to him for perspective and advice during her toughest moments. But let's not forget, life threw them unexpected curveballs too. Peter's previous marriage meant he came into their relationship with 2 children, and blending families is never simple. Yet, Dana embraced the challenge, showing how their commitment wasn't just to each other, but also to the life they were building together. Then, there's the pressure of being in the public eye. Dana's career often demands that she stay composed, professional, and informed at all times. Behind the scenes, Peter has been her rock, encouraging her, listening to her, and helping her reset when the world felt too heavy. Still, not everything was about overcoming hardships. Some challenges came in the form of personal growth. Take their differing backgrounds, for instance. Peter's extensive travel and his worldly experiences brought unique perspectives into their relationship, while Dana's career required long hours and a fast-paced lifestyle. Instead of letting these differences create distance, they made it a point to learn from each other. And yet, they've kept certain aspects of their relationship sacred away from the cameras and the noise of public life. It's this balance of transparency and privacy that has helped them protect what matters most. But here's the real lesson: their ability to handle challenges isn't rooted in perfection but in partnership. They've shown that when two people are willing to grow and evolve together, the obstacles that seem insurmountable can actually strengthen the bond. There's one final, heartfelt reason why their marriage has worked so well, and it's the kind of wisdom that could inspire anyone seeking a stronger relationship. Stick around, because this closing insight ties their entire story together and reveals the true essence of their love. At the core of Dana Perino and Peter McMahon's relationship is something rare in today's world: an unshakable partnership built on mutual respect, patience, and the understanding that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice you make every day. Dana has often said that Peter is her best friend. That's not just a phrase, it's the foundation of their marriage. Through the highs of career milestones and the lows of personal loss, they've leaned on each other, always putting their relationship first. Peter isn't just a supportive husband, he's been her anchor. The person who keeps her grounded in a world that can often feel chaotic and unpredictable. What's striking is how they've chosen to celebrate life's small, meaningful moments. From quiet evenings with their beloved Hungarian Vislas to shared reflections on their global travels, they've created a life full of connection and joy. Even during challenges, they've found ways to stay present for each other, proving that the strongest relationships are built not in grand gestures but in everyday acts of love and commitment. And perhaps the most inspiring part of their story: Dana and Peter don't claim to have a perfect marriage. They openly acknowledge the hard work, compromises, and growth it has required. But they also recognize the rewards, how their relationship has given them the strength to face the world, together and as individuals. So what's the key takeaway from their 25 years of marriage? It's that love isn't about avoiding challenges or expecting perfection. It's about embracing the imperfections, learning from each other, and always choosing to move forward as a team. If their story resonates with you, here's something to think about. What could you do today to strengthen the partnerships in your life?
Get ready.
Whether it's a relationship, a friendship, or even a professional connection, the lessons from Dana and Peter's marriage remind us that true success comes when we lift each other up. Take this thought with you, and if their story has inspired you, share it with someone who could use a reminder about the power of partnership. Relationships like this don't just happen, they're built, one intentional moment at a time. And isn't that worth celebrating?